Here's your wrestling news for April 27th, 2023, and we're starting off with WWE. And if you've watched the company's product long enough, odds are you will have seen certain storylines and characters which have come across as tone deaf. From Muhammad Hassan being cast as an anti-American Arab American to the entire Katie Vick storyline, WWE has its share of problematic ideas, and now some of those ideas may land WWE in court. According to a story from Bloomberg Law, WWE is facing a lawsuit from Brittany Abrahams for allegedly discriminating against her, who for the purpose of this report should be mentioned is black. Abraham's lawsuit alleges that she objected to offensively racist and stereotypical jargon that was used in scripts for black wrestlers, including Bianca Belair and Apollo Crews. The suit, filed in the U.S. District Court for the Eastern District of New York on Monday, states that one line used for the EST had serious issues. The line in question saw Belair say, don't make me take off my earrings and beat your ass," which according to Abrahams was based on cruel, ugly stereotypes of dark-skinned black women. It is also claimed that Belair made it clear that she was uncomfortable about the line and tried to get it changed, and argued that the scripted lines made her character come across as ghetto. Belair was able to convince WWE writer Christopher Dunn to alter the script, but only after several pushes from the Raw Women's Champion, with the lawsuit paperwork stating, "In conversation with Ms. Belair the following day, Ms. Belair informed plaintiff that she told Dunn 3 different times that I don't want to say that line, but he never listens to me. He puts that line in every week." While Dunn did ultimately scrap the line, it wasn't the only issue, as the lawsuit also alleges that the company had other racist practices that they wanted to put on air. Abrahams called out WWE's Nigerian gimmick for Apollo Crews, stating that the former US and Intercontinental Champion used a stereotypical and exaggerated Nigerian accent. Some ideas didn't make it to TV, and Abrahams alleges that during a thread on Slack with Vince McMahon and Stephanie McMahon, writers suggested a black male wrestler should dress in drag. While Abraham's complaints about certain angles were often overlooked, the idea was abandoned when a white writer said the angle would perpetuate harmful stereotypes that would offend viewers. Another idea came from WWE lead writer Ryan Callahan, in which a feud between Mansoor and Angel Garza over Aaliyah would culminate in a deep secret about Mansoor coming to light. When Callahan was asked what the secret would be, he proposed that Mansoor was behind the 9/11 terrorist attacks on the World Trade Center. When a writer, identified in the lawsuit as Miss Silvers, the only other black woman in the writing team, wisely said, "Let's not do that," Callahan allegedly didn't take it well, to say the least. Following this, whenever a writer asked Callahan a question, he would tell them to go ask Silvers, sarcastically saying that she is apparently the lead writer now. Not only would this angle have been incredibly offensive, especially given that WWE's Zelina Vega lost her father in the attack, but it would have demonstrated Callahan's poor understanding of math. After all, Mansoor was born in October 1995, meaning he wouldn't even be 6 years old when the attack happened, so either Callahan has a high, albeit morbid opinion on what Mansoor could accomplish as a child, or he just didn't think this offensive idea through. Abrahams claimed that she was terminated for opposing these racist, sexist pitches and is seeking reinstatement, damages, declaratory judgment, and an injunction restraining defendants from engaging in such unlawful conduct. It is alleged that WWE intended to fire her for speaking up against these offensive ideas, but knew they couldn't, so instead fired her for stealing a WrestleMania-branded chair, ending her career, which began in 2020. Abrahams took the chair because she had been told that she could, and the suit adds that white male employees who also took chairs were not terminated and faced no punishment. This lawsuit comes at a precarious time for WWE, who in addition to finalizing the Endeavor deal, are also dealing with suits stemming from Vince McMahon's return in January. There is certainly a lot to unpack in this story, and we will keep our eyes peeled for more updates right here at Slat Rock Wrestling. Tomorrow night, WWE will begin their biggest ever draft, one that Triple H has promised will change the landscape of WWE. This draft will also mean that talent won't be able to appear on Raw and SmackDown, as we've seen countless times over the past year, but why exactly is WWE doing all this? Ringside News reached out to clarify WWE's plan and reasoning, and were told that the networks were a major factor in WWE deciding to implement what was described as a hard brand split. It's not hard to see why Fox and the USA Network have been vocal on the topic, as both pay WWE fortunes for SmackDown and Raw and want exclusive superstars to promote. After all, why would somebody bother tuning in to the USA Network each Monday night to see the Judgment Day when there's a good chance they'll be on SmackDown on Fox later in the week? There's still a lot of unanswered questions about this draft, such as what will become of the undisputed WWE Tag Team Championships, but the networks are going to get their money's worth with this hard brand split. Much of this year's brand split will revolve around Roman Reigns, as the undisputed WWE Universal Champion will no doubt be a priority for either brand. Whichever brand the Tribal Chief isn't drafted to will receive the new World Heavyweight Championship, and we now know which Monday Night Raw would prefer. Ringside News was told that the USA Network want Reigns instead of the new championship, but want the rest of the bloodline to be drafted with the head of the table. With that said, it was also noted that WWE will likely struggle to keep the network happy, given Reigns' limited schedule and even fewer matches. It was back in 2019 that Reigns was drafted to SmackDown, where he has dominated as the Tribal Chief for close to 3 years now, but if the USA Network get their way, expect Raw to be the island of relevancy soon enough. We know that the next World Heavyweight Champion will be crowned at Night of Champions, so the only question now is who will be the first person to hold the revamped gold. There's no shortage of names who would make worthy champions, but it is a former Universal Champion who fans can expect to leave Jeddah on top. Speaking to Gimme Sport, WrestleVotes revealed that Seth Rollins is the leading candidate to become WWE World Heavyweight Champion, which would mean he'd be on the opposite show to Roman Reigns. Seth certainly is a smart choice, as not only is he one of WWE's most popular stars, but when Roman Reigns signed his more relaxed deal last year, Rollins stepped up and became the biggest star fans could see each week. Of course, plans could change between now and Night of Champions, but would Seth be your pick to hold the World Heavyweight Championship, or somebody else? Let us know in the comments. Earlier this year, WWE implemented a hiring freeze that was in place as the company sought to find a new buyer. This freeze led to names WWE were interested in, including Nick Aldis and Jay White, joining Impact and AEW respectively, and now that freeze is over. When Ringside News asked a source high up in WWE's creative team, they said that not only is there not a hiring freeze, but WWE is talking to half a dozen people right now. Unsurprisingly, the source in creative didn't mention which wrestlers WWE is currently negotiating with, but repeatedly downplayed reports of a hiring freeze. While Jay White is under contract with AEW, Nick Aldis is said to be working on a handshake deal with Impact, so there's nothing, in theory, that would prevent him from talking with WWE. Between the Endeavor deal being finalized, rumored releases, and the upcoming draft, WWE's roster will soon look very different, and that new landscape could very much include some new faces. And we're ending with Dark Side of the Ring, as this week saw a trailer drop for the show's 4th season, which shared more topics that will be covered. In the trailer, it is revealed the topics for this season include Abdullah the Butcher, Bam Bam Bigelow, Chris Candido and Tammy Sytch, Marty Jannetty, Magnum TA, Adrian Adonis, Junkyard Dog, Doink the Clown, Bash at the Beach 2000, and the Graham family. This upcoming season could arguably be the best ever, especially as the Marty Jannetty episode is supposed to be insane, according to sources. While the Sandman and Mike Awesome were rumored for Season 4, they didn't make the cut, but there'll be plenty of wrestling controversies for fans to sink their teeth into when Dark Side of the Ring returns to our screens.